as a community can do better.
What do you want to tell your children about this moment?
We need reforms.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, we stand together.
Everybody's here together, black, white, brown, everybody.
A platform for progress in our community.
We need to do a better job.
I want to show that we can be peaceful.
This is just as much our fight as it is yours.
Discussing the problems of racial inequality and solutions to combat discrimination in a conversation for change.
We'll be able to build on this.
I never in a million years thought I would embrace a cop like that.
From Wish TV, we stand together.
A mind, a terrible thing to waste. That has been the campaign slogan for UNCF, the United Negro College Fund, for decades.
And one Indianapolis native has provided her leadership to this organization over the years. Her name, Andrea Neely. She is the Regional Development Director for the UNCF. I spoke with her of the recent events that have taken place in this country. She stresses education is the key to propel forward. And that is tonight's We Stand Together.
She takes part in the 100 Black Men's Education Workshop, spearheads fundraising efforts, is involved in annual bowl-a-thons, and visits HBCU college campuses. Under her direction, since 2006, the UNCF has raised more than $70 million that have gone to 37 UNCF colleges and schools. For Andrea Neely, the strive for excellence in education is more than a passion, it's personal.
Being with the education sector of many times underserved communities and the Black community specifically, I'm sure your perspective on all of this hasn't started with the death of George Floyd. It's been years in the making. So if you can tell me first, where did all of this start for you? When did you realize, man, we've got a major problem here, systemically and systematically?
It kind of starts with just personal. So when you have children who are very bright, that have great promise, and it's shown that, teachers, because they are male, decide that they shouldn't be in an advanced class, regardless of the test scores that stand out and show that they should be, or a new teacher to the school system where students are that don't know the history, but automatically judge them by, their skin color. And so what for me has happened is that I've seen it personally with my children. In particular, I became a little bit more sensitive because I have twin sons. And so to have a teacher tell my son that I am, that he's not or can't do the work, and ultimately he does, then that shows to me that she didn't look at who my son was. She only saw him for who, she thought he was, but a Black son. And there's a lot of parents that may not felt that they had a voice or that they could challenge, the system. And so like many parents, it's continual. I am sorry, because that's my addiction. That's Caesar. And it's a challenge.
I'm going to focus on the last 10 years with you being at UNCF. What have you seen there, and what circumstances have you come across where you have been able to give people a voice who otherwise wouldn't have those opportunities of higher education?
Telling their story through UNCF for, 76 years, UNCF has focused on providing resources to first-generation low-income students. And UNCF, through our work of providing scholarships for students that are minimum of a 2.5 GPA. And a lot of students are like, wow, Mrs. Neely, I didn't know that I was even qualified or if I was good enough to receive a scholarship.
Reading the statement that UNCF released after the death of George Floyd, also naming Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor in that statement as martyrs in the Black community to bring this conversation to the forefront. How does UNCF use this conversation to make a difference going forward?
We now have a platform to be able to share what we have seen across the country in all of our markets, from California to Minneapolis to Atlanta. We have a presence and a platform to really begin to allow those families who are experiencing the systemic racism, as well as our corporate partners, not just to say, oh, we're going to give millions of dollars to support you. No, let's talk about and come to the table and have conversations about long-term programs that can address the systemic issues, not only from housing, employment, education, supporting small businesses. We're now in a position to really leverage our national presence to have those difficult and uncomfortable conversations, because those students that we are speaking to are the same, Deshaun Reed, who was, unfortunately killed here in Indianapolis. He was part of the 100 Black Men Botillion. And that program is teaching future leaders to have options and choices to be successful. Until it is realized how we are, as minorities, are basically put into one category and never given the benefit of the doubt. We are given that platform we need to make you feel uncomfortable that you have to address it. And that this isn't anything new, that oftentimes people are like, I really didn't know. And it's like, no, it's been here for hundreds of years.
And going back to the statement and kind of bringing in a little bit of what you just said, you said this is nothing new that's been happening in our world. And after just the first read I did of the statement, I thought immediately, wow, this isn't something that was just crafted. This has been a statement that's been decades in the making here.
Very much so. UNCF, NAACP, there's reasons why we're in existence. If it was fair and equitable, why would we exist? We have to advocate for equality since the beginning. Of us being freed as slaves, it doesn't change. And that is for any person of color who's had to endure. And heaven forbid, if you are a person of color and you're a female, what you've had to endure. And that speaks to if we are assertive or tenacious or passionate, then we're aggressive or angry Black women versus women who are committed to the mission and passionate about the work, but also will call out and make people feel uncomfortable of what is not fair and equitable. It's indicative of who we are as a community and a country to wake up. And it's unfortunate that people felt that George Floyd was a game changer. No, COVID-19 allowed people to see what African Americans and people of color have been seeing for years. Rodney King didn't just happen. He just happened to be recorded. George Floyd didn't happen. It's been happening. He just happened to be recorded, and then he was killed and no one could turn away. So for us, UNCF, for quality of education, there's no parent that does not want the best education for them, that are advocating, because everyone wants their child to be successful. But you can't be successful if you don't have a voice. HBCUs are the reason why the United States is strong, because of what they produce, from teachers to, our wonderful pharmacists to attorneys. These are institutions that are there because it was never fair and equitable for us to get a college education at white serving institutions.
Education is such a powerful tool. As you know, sure, it can lead to successful careers, but it also gives you the ability and knowledge of how to learn and how to seek solutions to problems you face. And that's something that historically has been robbed from these Black communities time and time again.
Oh, absolutely. When you have schools that are not supported financially, as well as having other services within those communities, you are only going to see students that are struggling. And even when you use the tool of a voucher so that students could go to other high performing schools, they're going to be frustrated because they're coming into schools that they are not prepared to handle the rigor, and it creates a ripple effect, not only for the student that is struggling with a new environment and expectation, but it also is a disruption to the students that have been there who are also trying to adjust with the change.
And with these conversations, what do you think the immediate future looks like, and then say 15 years from now?
People they're awake, so right now it's in our conscience. We see it, we're engaged. So short term, there is going to be some work in legislation. That's one thing that the Indianapolis Chamber has held several conversations and outlining next steps on how they can lead this change that is necessary.
Is there anything that you would like to contribute to this conversation that we haven't touched on already?
I'm a mother. I am a aunt. I am a sister. And I am a widow. And we all have to do our part to speak up and be heard and not be silenced. To make someone uncomfortable speaks to the fact that there are some concerns there and biases that they have not addressed because it's common practice. We all have to continue to speak up, speak out, and be present. Silence at any level, at any time, is not going to serve all of us well.
My condolences to you and your family for the loss of your husband. And I can't imagine all the trials and tribulations and what a time that has been for your family.
But it builds character, and we continue, and it shows strength. And so tenacity, resilience, that's what the Black community is. We are resilient. We have been dealing with this for years, and yet we still rise.
Our We Stand Together series will continue tomorrow night on News 8 at 10. And remember, you can see all of our profiles online at wishtv.com.
From Wish TV, we stand together. Watch, read, listen, and be a part of the conversation online at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Find more episodes of We Stand Together and other podcasts from Wish TV online anytime at allindianapodcastnetwork.com. allindianapodcastnetwork.com.